right, back in the saddle again on this Sunday night. We'll start off with that view. Love it. See Wavy telling you that our chat's getting underway, and you see that gorgeous Sunday night sunset. Man, oh man, I love a good sunset, especially in the fall. And it's going to feel like fall very soon. Hi, everyone. Carson Meredith with you back on this Sunday night. I hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend. And I hope you've enjoyed the sunshine, because we're not going to see a whole lot of it the next couple of days. Looking very wet to start off this work week. And unfortunately, the risk for heavy rain is going up just a little bit. We're going to explain the changes we're looking at with this setup for Monday and mainly Tuesday. And then we'll talk about what's behind this wet weather, because once we get past the next couple of days, I do think you'll like what we have behind it. So let's jump right in, shall we? We'll go back to that live view. We'll go eastbound, I should say, pointing out across Spaghetti Junction on the SkyTrack camera. What a gorgeous day, right? Had a little more cloud cover than expected, to be honest with you, earlier this morning, just after sunrise. And that was enough to kind of knock down our temperatures a little bit. Originally, our forecast high was 86. We only got up to 83 today, I believe. And we can blame that 3 degrees on the cloud cover that we had through about noon. And then once we got past noon, those clouds moved out, and I mean, it was a gorgeous day. Still warm for this time of year, obviously, right? But it wasn't 90-degree weather. It wasn't humid. It was not bad at all. If you look at the tippy top corner of the screen, if I could circle it, I don't think I can. No, I can't. The top right-hand corner, you can see the moon. The harvest moon, I believe is what it is. Getting close to it this evening. And we'll keep the skies mostly clear this evening. But those clouds will start to build back in while you're sleeping overnight tonight. 81 degrees, our current temperature here in Louisville. And here's the big picture view. Let's just jump right into it. It's not necessarily a complicated setup. It's just you have a lot of different parts with this setup. Part one is this big ridge of high pressure that is centered basically off the Atlantic coast. You get the idea. And the position of that high pressure is going to allow for all of this moisture you see coming out of the Gulf to lift northward. And we'll start to notice that lift in the moisture with the clouds that filter in overnight tonight. And then we'll start to notice it more with some hit and miss showers to start off your Monday. So yes, grab the umbrella heading to work or school in the morning, okay? You may not need it in the morning, but you're probably going to need it later in the day if you don't need it in the morning. So that's part one. High pressure sliding east, allowing for that Gulf moisture to start to retreat northward, basically up I-65. Part two is what you see out in the plains. This is a pretty stout cold front that stretches into Canada, obviously, into the upper peninsula of Michigan, down into the Twin Cities, down into Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. That cold front is going to dive southeastward over the next 2 days, arriving in wave country on Tuesday. And look, oh look, 2 pieces of moisture, one to the north, one to the south. Where do they all meet? Right over wave country. So we're going to kind of be in the sweet spot, if you will, for the most amount of moisture as these 2 systems interact with each other, mainly on Tuesday. We get a little appetizer tomorrow, and then the big show, if you will, is going to be late tomorrow night and especially Tuesday when it comes to not only how much rain we see, but how heavy it's going to be. Now, this sweet spot is going to be a good thing if you're looking at the fact that we need the rain. Being in that sweet spot of moisture is going to give us those highest rainfall amounts. And we'll talk about just how much rain we're looking at later on in our chat tonight. For tonight, it's all quiet. I do have a 10% rain chance in case there's a shower that decides to show up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that's a huge chance. I don't think we're dealing with showers until right around sunrise, Monday morning. 65 our forecast low tonight. The big reason why it's mild tonight is those clouds filtering in. You guys know the drill. We talk about it all the time. Clouds at night act as a blanket to keep us warmer. And that's going to be the case tonight. Now, let's go through the rain chances hour by hour on Monday. So we're only focused on Monday here, okay? Like I mentioned, there's a very high probability that you will stay dry at your house all night long. But as we get closer to sunrise Monday morning, excuse me, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, that ballpark, we'll likely start to see a couple of lighter showers dotting the map. It's only a 20% chance. Not everybody's going to see rain tomorrow morning. But notice as the day goes on, those rain chances creep up just a little bit to around 30% late morning, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Get towards the early afternoon, goes up to a 40% chance as that moisture continues to build in. And then we get into Monday night, that moisture really continues to build in. The moisture from the cold front starts to get closer to us. We get into that sweet spot, and those rain chances really start to climb. So if you have outdoor plans tomorrow, especially later in the day, I would recommend starting to think about backup plans. Indoors, ideally. It's a Monday. A lot of us probably just normal Monday, heading to work, heading to school, whatever. But if you got any outdoor plans by chance tomorrow, you may want to consider an indoor alternate location, especially later in the day. So rain chances are low to start off in the morning, 20, 30%, few showers. Might be enough to make you turn on the windshield wipers heading to work. But it's really tomorrow late afternoon. By late afternoon, I mean past 4 o'clock. So past 4 o'clock and into Monday evening, that's when those rain chances really start to climb as we start to get into that moisture sweet spot from the tropical moisture coming from the Gulf and the cold front moving in from the plains. So that's the stage for Monday. Monday's rain chances. And by the way, once we get up to that 60% rain chance you see Monday evening, those chances stay in that 60 to 80% ballpark all the way through Tuesday. So this is going to be a pretty persistent rain. Is it going to be heavy all the time? No, but it'll be persistent. And that's part of the reason why those rainfall totals will add up quickly the next couple of days. So we'll pause there. And we'll look at the comments, see who's here tonight. Crispy wins the first comment award tonight. Hope you're well. Ann saying hello to Crispy. Hope you're well, Ann. Hello. Albert's here. Angela's here. Nikki's here. Jasmine's here. Anita's here. Is it really going to feel like fall? Yes. I'm so excited. I am so excited. If I wasn't so tired, I might jump for joy, but I'm not going to. But it's going to feel great once we get past all this rain. Gary says hello from Pee Wee Valley. Let's see here. Tracy says happy Sunday. Same to you. Bring on fall. We're bringing it. We are bringing it. No doubt. Let's see. Graham is here. Going to be out camping at Otter Creek. What should I expect for this next week and weekend? We'll get to later next week and the weekend in just a few minutes, but if you're out there at Otter Creek now, just get ready for wet weather tomorrow and Tuesday, especially Tuesday. But it gets better past Tuesday. So trending in the right direction for the end of the week. Olivia, keep those rain totals going up for Henry County. Yeah, they have been trending up for everybody in Wave Country. Looking over the data today, and I wouldn't be surprised if that trend continued, to be honest with you. Nikki says today was beautiful, totally ready for the rainy fall feels. You know, I talk about it every fall. The best Sundays or Saturdays in the fall are when it's raining. And for me, a diehard football fan, you have a legitimate excuse to stay inside and watch football all day because it's raining and you don't want to go outside. But I digress. All this rain is going to be falling on Monday and Tuesday instead. So here we go with Futurecast. More of your comments later. And we'll start at 6 o'clock in the morning. This is the HRRR model, the high resolution rapid refresh model. It's one of the premier high resolution forecast models that we use. And it's pinpointing around 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Certainly an increase in cloud cover, but maybe a few of those lighter showers. I really don't want to pinpoint specifically where these showers may go off, because you've got all this Gulf moisture moving in. There's going to be showers in wave country, but they're going to be so light initially and so scattered. I don't want to say this area is dry, this one's not. So just wherever you are, grab the umbrella in the morning just in case you need it in the morning. You'll probably need it in the afternoon for sure. May not need it early, but you might need it later. So this is 6 a.m. A few showers start to bubble up. And there is the possibility as we go later into the morning tomorrow, there might be some heavier downpours, maybe even some thunder. I can't rule that out either tomorrow. But more than anything else, at least initially, with the time frame we're looking at here, 11 o'clock Monday morning, it's just the hit and miss showery kind of stuff. All right. I should also mention, temperature-wise, we're still going to be a little above average tomorrow, especially if we don't get many showers. In Louisville, we may sneak into the low 80s. Most of us will likely be in the upper 70s tomorrow. Still a little above average. As we go through the afternoon, here's 5 o'clock. That moisture continues to get pushed in, pulled in, however you want to look at it. Continues to stream in from the south and southwest. You start to see that rain coverage become higher Monday afternoon, late afternoon especially. And still, at this stage of the game, Monday afternoon to Monday evening, it's primarily just a steady soaking rain. Not necessarily the heavy stuff yet. Maybe a couple heavy downpours tomorrow evening, but nothing too terribly heavy until we get into Monday night, late Monday night, while you're sleeping. Steady rain for everybody for the most part, about a 60 to 80% chance. But then we start to see these heavier downpours become more common and become heavier than they already were. This is 7 a.m. Tuesday morning as you're trying to get out the door on Tuesday. And obviously, we don't want to take Futurecast verbatim because it will always be tweaked a little bit. But there is that trend that suggests we could have some rather heavy rainfall during the Tuesday morning rush hour. If that winds up being the case, we are going to flag Tuesday morning as an alert day. Not ready to do that just yet. But the fact of the matter is, when we have very heavy rain during a morning or afternoon rush hour, traffic is a nightmare. Not only in this city, but every other city in this country. So we're going to watch the timing trends closely, I should say. We may need to flag at least a brief alert day for Tuesday morning's rush hour. But here's your heads up now. Tuesday morning is going to be a mess. Pack your patience, pack some extra time heading out the door on Tuesday. And Tuesday, again, is when we're going to see the heaviest rainfall. Notice when we get that deeper moisture in here from the Gulf and from that cold front moving in, that deeper moisture means the atmosphere has more to pull out of those clouds, right? That gives you heavier rainfall rates. That gives you the chance for a few thunderstorms even, if we can get enough storm fuel. So Tuesday is going to feature the heaviest rain. Tuesday morning, this is 11 a.m. Tuesday you're looking at here. You do notice the heaviest rain slightly and slowly starts to shift to the south and east a little bit as we head into Tuesday afternoon. What concerns me is while you have this slow southerly motion of the heaviest rain, you also still kind of have some training right along the Western Kentucky Parkway, or right along the parkways in general, Western Kentucky and Bluegrass. And that is wherever we have this banding set up on Tuesday, that's where we could easily see those those higher rainfall amounts. 2 inches, 3 inches, maybe even 4 in a few spots. I think that's a little high, but I certainly wouldn't rule out some 2 to 3 inch rainfall amounts wherever that heavy banding decides to set up on Tuesday. The question obviously is, where does that heaviest banding set up? Does it set up along the Ohio River? Does it set up along the Kentucky parkways? And it's just too early to say for certain at this point. But the take-home message is Monday night, the rain becomes steady. Tuesday morning, the rain becomes heavy. And the rain stays heavy for most of the day on Tuesday. That's kind of the long story short message to take away from this weather setup this week. Here is the latest forecast rainfall amounts for wave country from the HRRR model, the model I just showed you on Futurecast. This is the rainfall amounts it's suggesting. And you notice across the board, we're looking at a solid 1 to 2 inches of rain, which is great. We need this rain. We're still kind of teetering on a drought. We had all that rain, was it 2 weeks ago now? That helped a ton. Last week, we dried up pretty good. Now we got another good dose of soaking rain moving in. So most of us are going to see 1 to 2 inches of rain, easily, 1 to 2. Some of you might see closer to 1 inch of rain. Some of you might see closer to 2. The question, as we've talked about, is where do those heavier bands set up? The latest run of the HRRR model, the HRRR model, suggests a heavier rain band right along the parkways and perhaps a little miniature band of heavy rain right along the Ohio River, where we could see those amounts get over 2 inches, maybe closer to 3 in a few spots. That's not necessarily enough to cause, river flooding or anything like that, especially given how dry we've been the last few months. But it could lead to a flash flooding issue. And that's what we just kind of have to babysit over the next couple of days. So again, right now, Tuesday's not an alert day. But I will say I'm concerned about the Tuesday morning rush hour with heavy rain falling during the morning rush. And I'm concerned about these potential bands of heavier rain that could dump over 2 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. So if we become more confident in one or both of those risks impacting your day on Tuesday, we will likely flag an alert day on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. We're just not confident enough to pull the trigger on that just yet. We need to look over more data. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Okay. Take off my horrible drawings so you can look at the general rainfall forecast for your house and your town, and we'll go through the comments, shall we? Let's see. Amanda, we need the rain desperately. We do. It's just, it's going to be very inconvenient, especially Tuesday, unfortunately. Weather Geek's here. ZK's here. Blue's here. How you doing, Blue? Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Sean's watching out in Norton Comments. Appreciate you stopping by. Judy says hello. Glad to be back. Yeah, it's good to be back. I was out of town earlier this week. I came in yesterday evening, was trying to get back into the routine of things. That's why we didn't do a stream last night. Of course, Brian had you covered yesterday morning, right? Kathy says hello. Nikki, will this rain be enough to help with the pretty fall colors? Yes, if the leaves can survive. What worries me when it comes to the fall foliage is these heavier rainfall rates will just knock these leaves right off the trees. That's what worries me a little bit, especially on Tuesday. So let's hope these leaves stay. Let's hope they're strong enough to survive. Because if they do, with this cooler air we've got coming in behind this system, oh man, those colors are going to pop really good in mid-October. So fingers crossed. Let's see. Kathy says no school in Trimble County this week for fall break. That's good. I know Jefferson County goes back tomorrow from their fall break. This is usually like the main fall break week, I think. It's the first full week of October, which is good. But obviously for those kids heading to school, could be a little dicey the next couple of mornings, especially Tuesday. Crispy, still no severe weather concern at the moment. I don't see much of one, to be honest with you. You can never rule out maybe a little gusty storm on Tuesday afternoon, especially down in Kentucky. If we can recover enough to get a little more storm fuel in the atmosphere south of the city, south of Louisville. Could we get 34, 40 mile an hour gusts? Maybe, but I'm not overly worried about severe weather at all at this point. Let's see. Kelly's watching up in North Vernon. Hello. Let's see. ZK, is it going to rain all week? No, not at all. Not at all. The end of the week looks very, very nice, which we'll talk about in a minute. Let's see. Tanya's here. A few more comments, and then we'll go back to the maps. Let's see. Adam's here up in Bloomington. Cody's here. Sorry, just reading through a couple of comments, making sure we're all good. No spammers. Nathan's here. Lots of shout outs. All right, so we're in good shape. Now, let's shift our attention from the rain and talk about fall that finally arrives by the end of the week. We'll start to see that cooler air move in pretty quickly on Wednesday. There was some concern that we may have some lingering showers on Wednesday, and that may be the case in our southern Kentucky counties. If you live closer to the Tennessee line, like Mumfordville, Greensburg, Campbellsville, we may get a stray shower Wednesday morning down there. It's only a 10% chance, though. The bigger story by the end of the week is going to be the fall chill. Wednesday afternoon, we're talking highs for many of you in the 60s. Upper 60s outside of Louisville, low 70s perhaps in town. But look at Thursday morning. Woo, boy, it gets chilly. And I'm here for it. I don't know about you, but I am ready for this. Here in Louisville, I got a forecast low of 50 right now, but I will tell you I'm kind of being a little warm biased there just because of the heat island effect. Everybody else Thursday morning, rather, is going to be in the 40s. It is going to be quite chilly on Thursday. Mid-40s, in fact. There could even be some lower 40s in southern Indiana, depending on how quickly the skies clear out Wednesday night into Thursday morning. I don't see a frost concern yet. I do not see frost just yet. Now, could there be like a low-lying valley way out in the countryside that drops into the upper 30s? Sure. 38, 39, can't rule that out. But I don't see widespread frost yet. Got a little ways to go on that. But Thursday morning does look to be the coolest morning. Nearly all of you in the 40s here in town, just because of that heat island. It is what it is. We'll give it a forecast low of 50 at the airport here in Louisville. As we go into Thursday afternoon, it's still feeling a little chilly. It'll at least be that initial shock to the system. We always have this in October when it finally starts to feel like fall. You go outside and you're like, ooh, I'm not used to this, right? It's been 6 to 8 months, right, since we've had a day like this. But nonetheless, 70s are high in Louisville on Thursday. Thursday just looks to be the coolest day, period, morning and afternoon. Starting off in the 40s in the morning, I think a lot of you are stuck in the 60s Thursday afternoon. Here in Louisville, I've got a high of 70 on the dot, 70, which will be, if that is indeed the case, that'll be about 4 or 5 degrees below average for this time of year. 70. Love it. Friday morning, still chilly. In general, we're looking at low to mid 40s again. Hovering likely near 50 in Louisville. You guys know the drill. So if you have not dug out those jackets yet, it's time. It's time to dust off the cobwebs and get those jackets ready. By the middle of the week, and especially Thursday and Friday mornings, you will need them. I don't think it's hat and glove weather necessarily, but jackets for sure as we get towards Thursday and Friday mornings especially. All right, here comes the 10-day, and you will notice once we get past tomorrow's showers and Tuesday's heavy rain, we've got a pretty quiet stretch ahead. Wednesday, I've got a high of 72. But again, a lot of you will be in the upper 60s. Thursday is the coolest day. Struggling to get to 70 in the city. 60s definitely elsewhere. And as we head into next weekend, we level things back off closer to where we should be in the mid 70s. Maybe just barely going back above average, but not too bad at all. Mid 70s across the board next weekend into the following week. There is some indications there might be a subtle little disturbance that tries to sneak in Friday and Saturday, give us a quick shower. I'm not too worried about it. I think the weekend as it stands right now looks good. Next weekend looks good. But you do notice at the end of the 10-day, those rain chances start to perk back up once again. Models are now really starting to coalesce around the idea that there will be a rather strong cold front moving through in the October 16th, 17th, 18th time frame. So in about 12 days or so. You may have seen some social media hype maps talking about wind chills maybe in the 20s with that front in the middle of the month. I'm not buying that, but I do think if that front moves through, it's going to give us another big shot of cold air in about 2 weeks. The question obviously is how big of a shot of cold air will that be? I'm not sold on the 30s yet, but highs in the upper 60s, just outside the 10-day, it's possible. It is possible. So yeah, we're gonna get back to where we should be for October standards. Just got to get through a couple of very wet days first, and then it'll feel great, it appears. All right, that's all I got tonight. Sorry if I ramble too long. I know some folks on here don't like when I ramble, but we got a lot to talk about. It's been a while since we've had a lot to talk about. Let's see here. Susan asks, how late will the rain last in Frankfurt? I think for everybody, including Susan, you in Frankfurt, I think late Tuesday afternoon is when we'll slowly dry things out, when the heavy stuff moves out. So I think after 4 o'clock Tuesday, most of the heavy rain is starting to get a move on. There could still be some lingering, showers Tuesday evening, but the heavy stuff should move out by then. This is not a multi-day heavy rain event. Yes, we've got showers tomorrow, but we're only looking at 1 day for potentially heavy rain, and that's Tuesday. Shout out Twitch. What is the chance for an alert day Tuesday? The chance is there. We kind of talked about it. Either we have heavy rain falling during the Tuesday morning rush hour, and or we become more confident that some of you are going to see over 2 inches of rain on Tuesday. If one or both of those things happen, or we become more confident that they're going to happen, I would not be shocked if we have to flag Tuesday. It's just too early to call at this point. But there's not a severe weather threat, which is good. ZK, time for the sweats. Indeed, time for the sweatshirts. As Adam points out, the blankets, the hoodies, all of it. We are ready for it. Soup and chili weather. Yeah, that's good, Ann. That's a really good idea. Let's see. Joseph, too early for a Thanksgiving forecast? Yeah, it's a little too early. A little too early. We're getting there. I mean, it'll be there. It'll be here soon enough. We'll all go to sleep tonight and we'll wake up and it's Christmas Eve. As fast as time is flying these days, but a little too early for Thanksgiving forecasts. Remember, our winter forecast comes out Halloween night or somewhere in that ballpark. Stay tuned. Let's see. Austin, hello. Got plans tomorrow from 11 to 2 at Bernheim Forest with friends. Will we make it before the rain? It depends, Austin, if you get those hit and miss showers during that time frame. If you can dodge those showers, you'll be fine if you're out of there by 2 o'clock. But I would still take some kind of rain gear with you, whether it's an umbrella or a poncho. You're going to be out at Bernheim and imagine you'd be walking around a lot. Take something with you. You may not need it, but you know what? If you do, you got it. Kind of just in case deal there. So a few showers during that time frame around midday. It's not until later in the afternoon when those rain chances really go up. Gary, just don't start talking about the polar vortex or the Arctic plunge. I'm not going to talk about that at this point. I don't need to for now. Let's see. Appreciate the kind words, Tanya. I like when you ramble. Good. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. I know we've got some people on here who don't like that, but I know you guys like it. So that's good. Braden, what is the excessive rainfall outlook for Tuesday? That's a good reminder, Brandon. I appreciate it. Or Braden, sorry, Braden. Let me see if I can find it real quick, and I'll pop it up here. And the excessive rainfall outlook, if you guys don't know, that's similar to the Storm Prediction Center. They have, you guys know slight risk, marginal risk, medium or enhanced risk, things like that. Same story here when you're talking about the excessive rainfall outlook. And it's like we talked about. They're really focused on where any heavier rain bands show up south of Louisville. I do think it's possible we get a heavier band of over 2 inches of rain along the Ohio River, but there's a greater concern for that down towards Litchfield, E-Town, Bardstown, Mumfordville, Campbellsville, Lebanon. You guys down in central Kentucky will have to watch for maybe some of those rainfall totals going over 2 inches on Tuesday. Good question, Braden. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. So it's a slight risk for extreme rainfall on Tuesday. That happens a decent amount. It's nothing to get too panicky about. Let's see. See, there's always one in the comments that likes to think they're funny. Let's get rid of that. All right. Adam, the older you get, the faster time flies. Yeah, I'm learning that. I am learning that for sure. ZK says, thanks. Everyone stay safe this week. And yes, thank the man above for every day. That is right. All right. Austin, lightning threat tomorrow. There's a tiny chance during the time frame you're going to be out and about. I'm not overly worried about thunderstorms tomorrow. I think it's more just going to be showers at this point. All right. That's all we got, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. I know it was a bit of a lengthy chat tonight, but hopefully everything made sense. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see what Tuesday looks like. I would not be surprised if we have to go alert day. No severe weather threat. It's just the fact that heavy rain during the morning rush is never good. And 2 inches of rain in one day can always cause problems. So if we become more confident in one or both of those things, don't be surprised if you watch us tomorrow and you see Tuesday's lit up red. We'll wait and see. Until then, appreciate you guys tuning in. You know it's Sunday night. It's football night. We got the Patriots and the Bills on Wave tonight. We'll be on with Wave News hopefully around 11:45, 11:30, 11:45, although last week we didn't go on until 12:30, which was brutal. But if you're still up after that football game, we invite you to tune in for an updated look at your forecast. And the rest of the crew will be here as the week goes on, keeping you updated on this heavier rain and eventually a nice fall weather pattern that will arrive by midweek. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Take care. I'll see you guys later.